So I think I'm okay now. So business and data analytics. So I will share I will share the manual for the shortcuts so that you can try from your side before we start before we go through with you people. But what I wanted to ask, our first lesson, we will start with the word, conducting data analysis, conducting. So it is the introduction. It is introduction to Microsoft Excel. So introduction to Microsoft Excel, but to be specific students, it is not really introduction to Microsoft Excel. It is just by the paper, but it is more of a financial modeling. It is more of financial modeling in Microsoft Excel, or in other words, advanced Excel. It is all about advanced Excel. So you must be ready for this. You must be ready with this. So you can see what I've shared, the screen I've shared there. So that is my name. That is my name. This is my name. And then also it is very important from the word go, I also share my personal number. Okay, but I think that one I write it later. So it is about the advanced Excel. It is about advanced Excel. It is about advanced Excel. It's all about advanced Excel. So advanced Excel training, advanced Excel functions refers to the features and functions of Microsoft Excel. So I will as well share those materials. I will give the materials, I will share the materials in the front office so that it can be shared in the WhatsApp group. So I will be expecting you people to go through under the introduction to Microsoft Excel, because today to start now, conducting data analysis using data tables. So conducting data analysis using data tables. But what I'm just showing you is what I wanted under the introduction to Excel. Wamesema hapa, these are the things unafaa ujue. Advanced Excel training. So unafaa ukuwe mwanafunzi, you are familiar with the Microsoft Excel. That is the only way you will be ready for this paper. So you make sure that you are very okay in Excel. So one, advanced Excel functions, that is it. I refer to the features and functions of Microsoft Excel, which helps the user to perform complex calculation, perform the data analysis, and much more. This course introduces additional skills to develop. Don't worry, usiandike. I'm just showing you something small so that we can concentrate on today's lesson. So this course introduces additional skills to develop your knowledge of the Microsoft Excel by focusing on the advanced functions and productivity tools. I repeat, underline that word. The word. This course introduces the additional skills to develop your knowledge of the Microsoft Excel by focusing on the advanced functions. So we will be concentrating on the advanced functions, especially the financial functions. We have different categories of functions. And then after completion of the advanced Excel course, you will be able to, one, use the advanced functions and productivity tools to assist in developing the worksheet. And then number two, manipulate data list using the outline, auto filter, advanced filter, and pivot tables. Use the consolidation to summarize and report results from multiple worksheets. So for us, it is very important for us to go through those notes step by step, because in this paper, we have the practical, and then at the same time, we have also the theoretical part of it. So that is why I will share these notes mapema, so that you will start reading it step by step. So that one, advanced learning outcomes. So this is the outcome. Ukikuwa sawa, but you know that you will not qualify to sit for this paper if you are not okay in the data analytic tools. And then Microsoft Excel is one of it. And then the Microsoft Excel is the one wamekuwa wanatumia for the 3 sittings. Excel ndio ilikuwa inatumika. Na ukienda kwa the theoretical part of it, wanauliza maswali mingi about Microsoft Excel. So from today, because this is a mission, you have decided, you have declared, and then this war lazima emerge victorious, you need also to prepare yourself well. How, what do I mean by that? You'll make sure that anything to do with Excel, before even maybe we'll be using the past papers to solve some questions, so that mtajua si kitu ngumu, but make sure that Microsoft Excel, you are smart, you are okay, both in the theoretical part of it and then the practical part of it. So that is it. Concepts of a spreadsheet. So that is under this topic, introduction to Microsoft Excel, ndio nataka mpitie hizo notes. The notes I've shared in there is that I want you to go through. The one we'll do today for our first lesson is the data tables, and then the data tables, I will be conducting it practically. I'll be conducting it practically, but make sure that you go through, mutaenda through these notes, how electronic spreadsheets are used in your advantages of electronic spreadsheet, that is it. And then Excel for human resource profession, Excel for human resource professionals. So there you need those, the functions or features, like for filtering the data. We have functions for the day, we have dated if, we have the count if, we have the sum if, we have data validation, we have the VLOOKUP, we as well have the horizontal lookup, we have the vertical lookup, and then we have also the horizontal lookup. We have also the pivot table. We have the pivot table, very important. And then Excel formulas. We have formula library, we have the financial functions, which is very critical for our health here. For us, business and data analytics students, that is our core area, the financial functions. IRR, NPC, those things, payment formulas. So which will go step by step. We'll be doing them step by step. So we have also the logical functions. The logical functions is the likes of greater than, less than, something like that, equal to. So, and then we have the statistical functions. We have the statistical functions. The statistical functions, they are the functions we use, to analyze the data. We have also the text formulas. We have date and time. We have the lookup and reference. So a very good example of a lookup and reference formula is what? Is the VLOOKUP. Is the VLOOKUP. So the VLOOKUP and what? And then the HLOOKUP. So what do I mean by this? And then I'll be very students, nikisema hii yenye tunasoma is not the normal Excel, it is advanced Excel. So if you have any issue na ile introduction ya Excel, you make sure that you do what? You do something. You make sure that you do something. But for now, as the course outline dictate has, we don't have, so we'll be concentrating on the advanced part of it. But if you have any issue, maybe you can utauliza and then maybe tutasaidika. So the VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, that is what we're talking about. Lookup reference. So this one is the vertical lookup, and then this is the horizontal lookup. And then we have also match. We have the index, We have the index and what? We have the index and match functions. We have index and match functions. So the index and match functions also fall under the what? It falls under the lookup. It falls under the lookup in what? Lookup reference. Lookup and reference. You will do it, tukifanya it practically, I think tutaelewa much better. And then also we have some engineering. We have some engineering functions. Formulas, auditing tools. We have the formulas auditing tools are very important for us also. We have what we call the trace precedent. We have the trace precedent. So this one, if for example, I have a cell like this one, if I have a cell like this, so let me just so so we are talking about a spreadsheet. This is an example of a spreadsheet. And then let us say these are cells. And then if these are the cells, maybe let us say Jan, and let us say there, let us say March, April. Then now, let us say here we have 5,000, and then maybe 10,000, and maybe 8,000 for that case. We have 4,000, and then here I have the totals. And then if I need to perform some totals, I need nikitaka to calculate the totals of the cells, I have to use a function. And then I think the function in all of us to mature. So we need to use a function. We need to use a function. We need to use a function in Excel. And then these functions, as you know, that functions is made up of how many parts? We have 4 parts of a function. We have 4 parts of a function. One is equal sign. Function equal to 4 parts, equal sign. That is the first one. Equal sign, equal sign, the equal sign, which is this one. And then number 2, we have the function name. We have the function name. And then number 3, we have the what? The parentheses. The parentheses. So what I mean by parentheses, it is the opening. It is the opening and closing of the brackets. The closing and opening of the brackets is the what? Is the parentheses. So for you to call it a function, a function is made up of 4 components. One, when you need, whether it is addition, whether it is a multiplication, whether it is a subtraction, whether it is a logical function, whether it is a date function, whether it is an hierarchy function, whether it is a net present value function, all the functions, they have 4 components. One is the equal sign. Number 2 is the function name. Number 3 is the parenthesis. And then number 4 is the what? Is the argument. Is the argument. Is the argument. And then the argument can be what? It can be 1. It can be a text. And then number 2, it can be what? It can be a numeric. It can be a numeric. And then number 3, it can be the logical. It can be logical. So under the argument, we have 1 as a text, and then we have the numerical, we have the numeric, and then we have the logical. So under the argument. So now we start with the equal sign. So if we need to calculate the totals, we need to do what? We start with the equal sign, because all the functions, for any Excel functions, you need to start with the what? With an equal sign. This is the equal sign I'm talking about. And then followed by what? The function name. So if we need to calculate the total, sales, so it means that we'll use what? A sum function. So I will just type the function name. So for the function name, it is not total. We don't have any function inaitwa total. So if it is the total, if it is grand total, the function is the what? The function recognized by Excel is the sum. Is the what? SUM. That is the sum. So and then the next thing is the what? Is the parenthesis. So I need to open a bracket. I need to open the bracket. And then if I assume this was let us say this is the column. If this is the column, and then in this column, we have let us say this A. This is A, then this is B, and this is C. So column A1. So this money kuna 5,000. It is A1. It is column A and then row number 1. So that is the cell address. So I come A and then 1. That is column A and then row number 1 and then 2. So unaweka colon. So to what? Column A and then so utakuja tena column A and then row number what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then row number 4. And then I close the parentheses. So if I close the parentheses here now, I'll be having the totals here. So I'll be having the totals here. So this one will be itakuwa my precedence. So e total, if I click the total, let us assume that we get a figure here. If we get a total here, tukisha calculate tukipata kafika there. So nikikuja to click this totals and then you come to Microsoft Excel, when the formulas, and then uangalie the precedence. So it will, these are the precedence of this. So hii total imetokana na hizi cells. Okay? So anyway, it was just about the what? It is just about introduction to Microsoft Excel. But what I wanted us first of all we go through it. Let me just share. So we were talking about the trace precedence. So let me just do it practically. So that for the better understanding. So I wanted kama uko na computer or if you have the laptop, kindly fungua the blank worksheet. Fungua the blank worksheet. Just open the blank worksheet. Just open the blank worksheet kindly. Fungueni the blank worksheet. So this is what I was talking about. So let me just share now. Let me stop sharing this one. But I will be sharing them concurrently. So let me share now the what? So I'm sharing the screen. I'm sharing the spreadsheet screen. And then I want to just use the same whatever nilikuwa nimeandika kwa board. So tukikuja, let us say that here niandike cells. And then I can as well, students, we have what we call the random numbers. We have the random numbers. So instead of struggling, instead of, sorry, there is something, I'm sorry. So instead of struggling, instead of struggling, maybe typing numbers, we have some functions in a spreadsheet. Like for example, we have a function in random between. We have a random between. We have the random between. So it is a function like any other function. It is like, so provided it is a function, lazima iko na how many components? It has 4 components. 1 is equal sign, 2 is the function name, 3 is the parenthesis, that is the opening and closing of bracket, and then the argument. Under the argument, we have what? Logical, numerical, and text. So you will understand much better that. So we can say the list number we have is maybe 100, and then comma, and then ile number kubwa ni 1500. Just a word. That is my case. You can have a different one. So nikisha click there, I do what? Okay. So there is something which is not working well here. So one, let me just select some cells, like cells like that one. And then now from there, equal sign, and then a random between. Then the wake maybe 100. Just you type there 100, comma, and then top is 1000, and then you close the bracket, then you press enter, and then from there now you simply drag, drag, and then drag downwards. So in a pair those random numbers, it will give you those random numbers automatically. Because of what? Because of the random between. Now if you click that function, unaona we have the equal sign, we have the function name. Function name is random between, and then our argument, we are playing with the what? With the numeric. So in the argument, we are playing with the numeric. It is purely numerics there. So, and then there is something you need to do here. I will copy, and then I will paste special. I will copy and paste special, because anything, if you come up with numbers randomly, they'll keep on changing every now and then. So for us to avoid that thing, una copy and then paste special, and then make sure that it is what? It is values instead. It is values instead. So, and then I will click OK. So now my values is like any other. It is like any other. It is like any other numbers or values imekuwa entered manually. Yeah? So now, let me use my function. So sum, and then that is the function. And then I double click. And then maybe, that is what? A2. And then maybe I press the shift and then colon. Or maybe to make work very easy, you simply do what? You simply highlight. You select those cells like that, and then I close the bracket, and then I press enter. But the reason why I'm doing this, the others we can do what? Yeah, we can do it like that, so inakuwa automatic. But now, the reason why we are doing this is to explain about the So under the formulas auditing, we have the trace precedent. We have the trace precedent here. So unaona nikiclick automatically, that is my, so inaonyesha these totals yenye unaona, it is because of it is because of this these values, of those values zenye ziko kwa hizo cells, from cell A2 to cell A9. Okay, so and then if you come here, unaona shows the arrows that indicate which cells affected the value of the current selected cell. Okay, shows the arrows that indicate which cells affect the values of the current selected areas. So anyway, that was just by the way. But I wanted you to go through that notes, and then also the other one, the other, I can still remove my arrows and then maybe select this and then dependent. So is there any difference? No, I was dress dependent. And then this one, I don't know, are you noticing the difference? Is there any difference? Nikiselect easy, ama nikiselect this. Let me select one and I see. So this one is what shows the arrows that indicate which cells are affected by the values of the current selected cells. So those basics ni kusoma. The only way you will be familiar with ni kusoma na kusoma na kusoma. Now, sasa these are the notes. These are the what I wanted you to assist me go through first. So trace precedence. So you just go through step by step. All this, all this, all this. Though we'll be doing it practically, but also you'll try it from your side. You will try it from your side. So this, you make sure that you ndio isisaulike. Make sure that mumekumbusha the huku ndio this thing ikuwe shared maybe today or tomorrow for that case. So I wanted us to start our, we focus on the data tables today, and then we need only to do one. So we need to focus on the data table. And then I will also instruct the lady to share the past paper for, okay, it was 2022. Let me just confirm and then make sure that you have all the past papers for the work, for the business, for the BDA, So, but maybe wacha tusome kwanza. Tukisoma ndio tuta-apply. We do one question and then tuendelee like that. So the data tables. So the data tables is purely practical. It's purely practical. So data tables. So introduction to Microsoft Excel, nikitumana hizo notes, mupitie kwanza. So tutakuwa tunafanya practical, tujaribu tupitie the theoretical part of it. So the data tables. So the data tables, students, is one of the topics in what we call in the business and data analytics. Imeulizwa karibu kwa the whole questions, starting from what? The pilot paper 2020, and then the exam itself, and then the April, and then I realized also the recent one, we had the same one, we had the same question. So I wanted you to be very keen, and I will be doing it very slowly. Nitakuwa nafanya tu pole pole to make sure that all of us tumeelewa. Na tukielewa, we'll go to the specific question in past paper, then we try also to solve so that at least we make it more practical. So I will be sharing some information about the data tables and then also the data set. So the data set, I don't know whether okay, I think data set I will share it. Let me just share the word. We need only 30 minutes. For 30 minutes for the data table, and then we are good. So let me give the instruction to the reception so that that data equation. And then the online students, naona inachimute. Sijui ikijimute, you people, you are not alerting me. So, you know, you from your side, if you cannot hear me, I think it is important, muniambie, mwalimu, you are not audible so that I can do something. So, so far, so good on my side. Thank you very much, Elvis. So what I wanted us to do, wacha tuelewe kwanza hii data table ni nini before even we do anything. Wacha tuelewe this data table ni nini na itatusaidia aje. And then because I have also, I think I remember this is a question. This is a question for a paper in the DDA. Unaona hapo use a two-way data table to determine is it visible? Yes. So there is a question there. Question number 25. I think I will share the full question. So assume that an investor takes an investment loan of 150 million. The loan is for 48 months at an annual interest rate of 15%, which the bank translated to a monthly 15% divided by what? 12. So divided monthly is equal to that one. The payment are to be made at the end of each of the next 48 months. So the question further says that calculate the monthly payment on the loan. You need to calculate the monthly payment on loan. Assume that you have the following options to negotiate with the bank. Option 1, annual rate 15%, and then terms in 48 months. Option 2 is 18 months, and then term in 60 months. And then option 3 is 13%, that is the rate, and then term in 36. So use the two-way data table to determine which option would be most favorable. Let us forget about that for now. Let us go back to now the data tables. So what is a data table, students? So what is a data table? So you find that this data table, this data table. So this data table, we have two data table. Under the data table, we have one. We can call it a one variable data table. That is one. Sometimes we call this the one way. You can as well call it a one way data table. One way data table. This is one and the same thing. This is one and the same thing. So one variable data table, one variable data table, or you can as well call it a one-way data table. So wakikuuliza use the one variable data table, or sometimes wakuuliza use the one-way data table, ujue it is one and the same thing. It is the same thing. And then, so this one variable data table, this one variable data table, so this one variable data table is, it is one input range. One input range. Meaning what? Meaning what? This is one input range. This is one input range. It can be either the column. It can be either the column or a row, provided it is one. Provided it is one. So if we deal only with one variable data table, we are either using only one input range. We are using one input range, which will assist us to solve many other problems. We use only one input range. One input range. It can be either a column or a row. It doesn't matter, provided it is what? It is one. Provided it is one. And then, if we come to the two variable data table, two variable data table, two variable data table, or we can as well call it the two-way. We can as well call it the two-way data table. So it can be the two variable data table or two-way data table. So wakisema that use the two-way data table to solve this question, you know, hiyo inamaanisha nini? It is as well, it is what they can call it the two variable data table or the one variable data table. So for this case, we use both input range. This one, two input range is used. I will just demonstrate it practically. Ndio mtaelewa more what I mean by one input range and then two. But kenye nafaa ujue saizi, hata kama ni kugram, one variable data table or the one-way data table, it in a deal na one input range. It can be either a column or a row. But now for the two-way data table, it is what? The two input what? Input range. So now the column, in the data table, the column in the data table, the column and rows will be utilized. All the cells, that is the column and the rows, will be utilized. So if at all, when you are using the data table in Microsoft Excel, which is under the analysis, which is under the analysis, which is this one actually. Let me just show you. So ukikuja kwa data, okay, let me just share the screen. So the students, I'm talking about this feature. So it is under the data, and then whatever analysis, it is under here. Whatever analysis, we have the scenario manager, we have the call seek, and then we have the data tables. So that is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the data tables. So if I click on this data table, if kama natumia tu one input cell, like for example, for that case, maybe I can zoom. So if I come here, That is what we are starting our lesson. We need to concentrate. We do, and then we learn more about the data tables. So today's lesson, data table. So tumesema one variable data table, it is where we use only one input cell, either a column or a row. So kama inadili unatumia only one input cell there, it is one way data table, or you can say it is one variable data table. But if at all unatumia the two input cell, that is the row and a column at the same time, that is the two-way data table. That is the two-way data table. That is the two-way data table. So, okay, let us go back here, then tuangalia this thing before we do the one variable data table practically. So as you can see there, a data table is a range of cells in which you can change the values in some of the cells and come up with different answers to different problems. There are two types of data table. The one variable data table and then two variable data table. You can as well call a one-way data table and a two-way data table. If you have more than two variables in your analysis, if you have more than two variables in your analysis problem, you need to use the scenario manager for a tool of Excel. So one variable data table, a one variable data table can be used if you want to see how different values of one variable in one or more formulas will change the results of those formulas. In other words, with a one variable data table, you can determine how changing one input changes any number of your output. You will understand this with an help of an example in worksheet 2. So let me just stop this sharing, and then I wanted to look nitafute a data yenye iko mzuri. They are very good data. Let me just look for a very good data. So this is the loan amortization. This is a loan amortization, you can see there. But this was the working ilikuwa nafanya na the other students. So it has nothing to do with you people, but I want to use the same data. The data is very important for us for now. Tutafanya tu one variable data table for today. Then we call it a day. So ndio tuelewe sana hii one variable data table. We have to do it practically. I already have the data set, I'll share it, so don't worry. Don't actually worry, but make sure that you have your laptop. Make sure that you have your laptop as from tomorrow. If you don't have the laptop, it will be very difficult for us. So if I click home, these are what we'll be doing. But now I will also show you how to link, because for you to link the financial statement, you need to know how to navigate, how to consolidate different. You need to know how to consolidate different worksheets in your workbook using the hyperlink and many other functions. But let us focus on what we are doing today. We do one thing at a time. So we are still in the what? We are still working on the what? We are in these data tables. So hizi data tables, nikiclick hapa data tables, automatically unajua nimetengeneza ka link. So and then this link, unaona nikikuja tu hapa nikiclick inanipeleka mpaka the one variable data table. That data is interactive. That is data is interactive, but don't worry, tutafanya tu step by step. So but today, I wanted us to do the one variable data table. So the one variable data table, let us use that simple exercise to know more, or let us use that data to get the concepts of the one variable data table. And then after which we go to the what? The two variable data table. So now, there you can see we have the input. You have the inputs. In the inputs, you can see we have the cost of the house, which is, as you can see, it is 2 million. And then we have, this is a mortgage. This is an investor, or this is an individual. Ameamua kufanya nini? Maybe kununua nyumba, and then akaenda maybe for financial, or maybe easy housing, and what? The cost of the house was what? 2 million. And then down payment yenye alimake is what? 200,000. And then we have the interest rate there. That interest rate you are saying, it is by what? It is by annum. It is by annum. And then you can see the repayment years. He or she has to pay for how many years? She has to pay for 15 years. And then also the payment by year. He or she will be paying 12 times. She will be paying what? The 12 times in a year. She will be paying the 12 times in a year. So it means that atakuwa analipa per month, atakuwa analipa per month. So now, before we do what? Before now we do, we demonstrate or we get the concepts of one variable data table. First of all, we need to do what? We need to come up with the what? We need to come up with the output. And then to come up with this output, we need to use what? We know the inputs there. We need to use the inputs like the cost of the house, the down payment, the interest rate, the repayment year, the payment per year. So we start with that one. Like for example, the amount borrowed. Amount borrowed. Elvis, how can we calculate that? Elvis, how can we calculate that? And then Embracia, how many that name, maybe that name, do you have another name? Because where I come, I think it is very difficult for me to pronounce that name. Okay, so Elvis, that what you need to calculate. You need to get the amount borrowed. It is very simple. We use the cell address formula. We use the cell address formula. That is what? One will say the cost. That is the cost of what? Of the house. The cost of house minus the what? Minus the down payment. Minus the down payment. Minus the down payment. But we don't do it manually. We use the what? We use the system. So and then munakumbuka nikiwaambia whether it is a function, whether it is a formula, you need to start with an equal sign. So and then now we use the cell address formula. We use the cell address. I want you to underline the word cell address formula. Cell address formula. You need to use a cell address formula. So we don't type. So we'll just select it. Niki-click hivi, unaona, nime-select cell what? P5. So that is cell address formula minus the down payment. So the down payment for that case, we need to select the what? here, that is what? Minus B6. And then now I press enter. If I press enter now, the amount borrowed by whoever, by that investor is what? Is 1.8. Is 1.8. And then the monthly rate. The monthly rate. So it means that since in our output, in our input, the rate was per what? It was per annum. It means that the monthly rate will do what? We will say that the yearly rate, we divide it by what? By 12, right? So it means that what I will do here, equal sign, and then interest rate, I divided it by what? I divide it by 12. I divide it by 12. I divide it by 12. And then I press enter. So that is the monthly rate. That is the monthly rate. And then also the payment periods. So what do I mean by this? Utakuwa unalipa for how many months? Utakuwa unalipa for how many months? You know, so the periods, it means that we'll say kama hii loan unafaa ulipe for what? So I have to start with an equal sign, always. So equal sign. If unalipa for 15 years, you multiply it by what? Na per year unalipa 12. So it means that I will pay for 100 and what? And 80 months. I will pay for 180 months. And then now, very important. Very important. So this payment, Rona, we have a formula. This is a what? A financial function. That is the BMT. So it is a payment formula. The repayment formula per month. We use a function, we call it what? A PMT. This PMT function, it is under the financial function. So what I will do, first of all, equal sign. And then I will just go to the more functions. I will just go to the more functions there. More functions there. And then now, niangalie what? I just type the BMT. So unaona nikikuja kuclick haka and then ni select financial functions and then I search for the BMT. Sorry, you know nimepata. So already this third one. So now the first thing you will do here, we select the rate and then all the rates. Okay, it is not a rate per annum. It is the monthly rate. So tunajua mahali monthly rate here, it is here. Okay, and then the number of the periods. The number of the periods is what? Is 180. I'm just selecting from there. And then now we have the present value. We have the present value. The present value is always negative what? Negative 180,000 or 180,000, and then you just press enter. So that is what you will be repaying per month. That is what you will be. This is what you will be paying per month. So, and I hope umepata hiyo formula, because that formula, it is very important. So if at all, if you need that, it means that I need to repeat, I will be glad to repeat. So kama mtu anajua, anaona nirudie, you will just write in the chat, sema, can you repeat? And then I repeat. So we need to repeat. Hatuna haraka mahali tunaenda, because in fact our first lesson tunavaa tukitoka leo tumeelewa. If you are, whether you have a laptop or you don't have a laptop, ukienda unaenda kurudia, unajua umefuatilia. And then also maybe you people, you request for the recording so that maybe kesho kama uko na laptop jaribu kufuatilia. So I will repeat. So equal sign, and then we look for what? The financial function. So nikikuja hapo financial function, na nikuja hapa kutype the PMT, and then I do what call, unaona, these are the function, and then I click OK. and then ukuje kwa rate. The rate is what? It is this rate per month. And then the number of the period is this 180. And then the present value is always, you need to start with an equal sign. Always you need to start with the what? Negative, sorry. It is a negative because ni kitu tunalipa, eh? Otherwise, nikiweka without weka negative, it will be what? If you select this amount without selecting, unaona inakuwa red, inakuwa negative, eh? So, and then mathematically it is not what? It is not, we know it is actually negative, but lazima utaweka hiyo negative, eh? So that inakuwa positive. So nikiclick haka, and then nikuje tu niweke negative. Always make sure that umeweka negative, and then it is like that. So maybe you can repeat from your side. You can repeat from your side. And then also the total repay loan. The total repay loan, it means that we say the monthly, we multiply it by what? We multiply it by 180 months. So at the end of the payment, at the end of what? Utakuwa umelipa, ulikuwa umeomba loan ya 1.8 na utakuwa umelipa 2.6. So it is the principals plus the what? Plus the interest, yeah? And then now, if we need to calculate the what? The interest. So it means that tutasema the total repay loan minus what? Minus the amount borrowed. So the interest is that. That is the interest. That is the interest. That is the interest. That is the interest. And then we are done with the calculation of what? We are done with the calculation of the output. Of the output. So I want you people, dedicate that test digest tukuje tufanye tu one variable data table. Because tukenye imebaki sasa ni rahisi, kenye tumefanya ni, so nikikuja sasa nitakuja kuwaonyesha the concepts of the one variable data table. One variable data table. So let us go break for 5 minutes. So we can continue with now our one variable data table students. I want you to be very keen, and then if it is possible, you can write some what? You can write some procedures. Because I was requesting if it is possible also, once we are done with the one variable data table, we do something to do with the loan amortization, and then I will call it a day. So 15 years. So we are using, it is one variable data table. So the input cell, the one we are using is the column. It can be column, but it can be a row. But what to tutumia a column. So according to the information we have, according to this loan, mortgage. So this an individual may request a loan alipe for 15 years. What if this individual request a loan and analipa for 14 years? What if request a loan and analipa for 13? What if request a loan and analipa for 3 years? Atakuwa na repay pesa ngapi per month? Okay? So that is what we call, that is why we call it what if analysis. What if analysis. So we already have the information that if you requested the loan and then you need to pay it for 15 years, you will be repaying what? You will be repaying 13,314.38. That is what you will be paying by month. What if you repaid for 14 years? Utakuwa unalipa pesa ngapi per month? What if repay for 8 for the 8 months and so forth and so forth? So that is the what if analysis will answer us those questions. And then the goodness of also one way data table is that apart from kutupatia the amount yenye mtu anafaa repay per month, also inaweza tuonyesha the total to repay and then even the total interest. Yeah? So what I will simply do here, I will say equal sign 15 plus 1. Let me say in increase by 1. And then from there I do what? I drag or I autofill for that case. So maybe tuweke mpaka 30, tuweke mpaka 30, let's say like that. So now tunaanza, if nikiomba loan ninalipa for 10 years, I will be paying 13,314.38. What if nikiomba for 16 years? What if nikiomba for 17 years? What if nikiomba for what? For 18. And then it is also possible for us to go what? To end the 14. We can still start with the 14. It is still okay. So I can as well drag it upwards like this. But sasa hapo unajua nafaa niweke what? 14 or even 13 or 13 like that. So now what I will do here, so nitakuja hapa and then equal sign niseme maybe this one, and then maybe also tuangalie the what? The total to repay loan, and then also maybe the what? The interest. Maybe tuangalie hiyo. And then from there I will highlight control A. Sorry. Or maybe I just do the normal highlight. No, I don't want that selection. I'll simply highlight directly. I think there is a problem with my keyboard, so don't worry. Like that. And then now I'll come to where the data, and then whatever analysis, and then a data table. And then now, since it is one variable data table, I'll be only selecting one input cell. I will be selecting only a one input cell. To be specific, it is what? The column. Because your data yangu nimeweka column wise, not the row wise. So the column, I'll select the column, and then always we select the what? This one. So I'm selecting it from the input. So let me select it. The answer we have is for 15 years, isn't it? The 13 indicated there is for that year. So I've selected it. And then nothing else. You just click OK. Then wow. And then you can have your data table there. We can have our one-way data table. We can have our one-way data table there. So now to interpret whatever you have there is that one, if kwanza tuangalie ukihomba for 15 years, which is this one, which is that one. So does this is this answer equivalent to this? Is this answer equivalent to this? So if it is yes, it means that we are okay. So now, if the investor decides that he needs to take loan and then he'll pay it in 14 years, so it means that he will be paying what? 14, It will be paying 14,000, 14,000 and what? 14,010 point blah blah blah, and then 13 like that, and then now like that. So unaona imetuonyesha several other options, and then it will be upon now the investor or whoever make decision. Make decision akitumia that. So and then also it shows us the total loan atakuwa analipa, ranging from the 13 years to what? To that years, isn't it? And then also the interest. So it is upon you to make a decision. It is upon you to make a decision. That is one variable data table. That is the one variable data table. I hope all of us, we are okay, and I hope all of us tumeelewa. So that is the one variable data table. One more thing here is that we need to do what? We need to label. Tunafaa to label in a way that tuonyeshe, our customers that in column 1, it shows the repayment per month. And then in column 2, it shows, in column 2, it shows the what? It shows the total to repay loan. And then in column 3, the interest. So if I just write, like for example, the payment per month here, like this, if I write it like this, if I write it like that, payment per month, if I write like that, payment per month, so unaona ina change kila kitu like that. It will change like that. Oh, we don't want it to be like that. We don't want it to be like that. So I will redo. So the procedures of renaming, the procedures of labeling your data table is, one, you right click, and then unakuja kwa format the cells. Ukuje kwa format cells. Kwa format cells, and then ukuje kwa custom. Kuja kwa custom. So kuja kwa general, and then toa hiyo general, and then now tuweke quotes, and see quotes, and then you type now the payment, the what? Unaandika the monthly payment. Monthly. Kuja monthly payment. Monthly payment, and then don't forget weke quotes, the monthly payment, then don't forget weke quotes. And then from there we do what? And then from there you click OK. And then now it's coming. Now it is coming. So that is the procedure, students, of labeling. So unaona inaonyesha sasa, unaona inaonyesha this is repayment, inaonyesha these are the years. So and then the same thing applies to this. So we can also do what? We can do the same for this. You right click and then format cells, and then custom, format the cells, and then custom, and then general, and then I backspace, and then opening quotes, and then we type the what? We type, oh, the what? It is what? The total to repay, the total to repay, the total to repay, the total to repay, the total to repay loan, the total to repay loan. So, and then don't forget to work at the opening and closing quotes, the opening and closing quote, total to repay loan, like that. The same thing applies to this one. So we right click and then the format cells, and then you make sure that you try it from your hand. So, and then custom, and then we come to general here, and then opening quotes, and then we type the total interest paid. The total, you start with the opening quotes like always, and then the total interest, the total interest paid, and then I close the bracket, I close the bracket, and then I click OK. And then that is it. So that error means that the space is not enough. Total interest paid. So that is now our one-way. That is our one-way data table. That is our one-way data table. This is our one-way data table. That is our one-way data table. So that is the procedures of performing the one-way data table. That is the procedure of performing the one-way data table. Any question? Any question? Any question? Any comment? Any complaint? It's your time. So if you have maybe there is something it is not clear, maybe you need it, you need me to repeat it, but we'll do it tomorrow, not today. So any question? Any question or any suggestion? Maybe if need be, maybe any suggestion? Yes.
Just for the purpose of practice. Can we make our own table like this?
I will share the data. I will share the data because niko na data kubwa, so I will share. Unaona ukikuja hapa we have the data tables, two-way data table, scenario manager, call 6 scenario analysis. We have scenario analysis there. So I interactive dashboards. So don't worry, I will just share the data. I will just share the data. Most probably I will share the data tomorrow. I will share tomorrow so that before our tomorrow's lesson, at least mtakuwa na data. But also ni ya maana mtu kama with the data, it is well and good. Najua hii kujitengenezea data yako itakuwa mzuri kuliko ile yenye mwalimu anatengeneza. So kujitengenezea data yako is also very important. Very important. You know? Okay, so David, Elvis, Mutunga, do you have any question? Do you have any question? So we'll continue tomorrow with our lesson. So it means that tomorrow we'll do the two-way data table, and then once we are done with the two-way data table, we'll go to the past paper, and then we'll also do a question. So mnaelewa kasi vile ilikuwa inafanywa hata mkisoma hivi inafanywa na the past paper. At least mtu aelewe that. So that is it. So unless there is a question, if there is no question, we can meet tomorrow. So thank you.
Share the number and this clip. The clip.
Oh, the clip. The clip will be shared tomorrow, but this data, I think it can be shared. I will just say that one will be shared even today. Yeah? Okay, thank you. We meet tomorrow. So we meet tomorrow at the